Hey, did we just see the arrival of the Chicago Bears quarterback at 14 minutes and 13 seconds of the fourth quarter? I think we did. We'll talk about it. Welcome back to the Sizzle. It's your man. I'm always your man, Jay Sizzle. Jay Thomas coming at you. Am I coming at you? I got all the cliches going on, man. It's late at night. It's after the Bears game. After that Monday night three-quarter snooze fest that had the Chicago Bears looking like they didn't realize that you couldn't play football and have 185,000 yards of penalties and actually have a chance to win the football game. I'm amazed that it was even that close in the fourth quarter that you could see that the Bears had an opportunity to come back in this ball game. But even more so than that, it wasn't the comeback. It was the coming of age of Justin Fields. You saw it about 14 minutes and 13 seconds of the fourth quarter. Justin Fields hit a seam route, and I want to say it was to Jimmy Graham, right up the seam at about 17, 18 yards. Might have pushed it down a little bit further, right inside of the safety. And it was a pass that a professional quarterback makes because that's what the defense gives you. And we actually saw him actually take that throw and make that throw. I think the game at that point had slowed down for Justin Fields, and he understood what he needed to do with the football. After that, you saw Justin Fields play pretty well. Now, was it great? Absolutely not. Could have been a lot better? Yes. But he did not look like a deer in headlights. And that's what we've been waiting for all this period of time. That Justin Fields looked like a quarterback who was under control, who understood what was going on in the game plan and could execute the game plan. We start seeing a young quarterback able to read the field and make the throws. Now, we all know that Justin Fields has the arm talent. We all know that. We know he can throw the football. Here's the thing about it. In the first three quarters, Justin Fields was missing wide open players running down the sideline. He was either throwing it 5 yards out of the field to play, or he just wasn't given enough air under the football for them to run underneath. It's like that one he threw to Mooney before the touchdown pass. Had him wide open, need to put some air in there to let him go get it. But that'll come in time. But that play up the seam, that's the play that I think right there gave him all the confidence that he needed. And now we might see a different Justin Fields. Now, a lot of this has to go on is what Matt Nagy does, how much he's going to insert himself into the offensive play calling, because he should never insert himself into the offensive play calling. The Chicago Bears have the worst offense in the NFL, bar none. They are the worst offense in the NFL. But this terrible offense today put up over 400 yards of offense on the Steelers. And the young Justin Fields threw for 291 of those yards. Now, his completion percentage wasn't great. I think he was a little bit over 56%, right? We need to complete higher percentage to that. We need to take those check down throws that actually hit him. He was throwing them, but I don't know where he was throwing the ball to. And we see a lot of times that when he's throwing the ball to the outside, his throwing platform is off. You know, he has too much Pat Mahomes going on right now, and he needs to sit down like Mac Jones and throw the football. He really needs to call Tom Brady and go down to the Tom Brady school of throwing those out routes and start sticking those out routes in between the numbers and just putting the ball right outside the hash where only his guys can catch it. If he can complete more of those passes, then I think you'll start seeing him be more prolific quarterback. Right now, he's missing the easy throws. Now, that throw he threw to Mooney in the corner was a thing of beauty. You know, really whipping it off his back foot, rolling to his left, getting his shoulder squared up, putting the ball out there where only his receiver can catch it, hitting him in stride. Perfect. Perfect pass, perfect throw. But we would like to see him way more accurate. He was great on that throw, but he wasn't in the great body position that a great NFL quarterback needs to be in. Now, that's something he needs to work on, and he's going to have a lot of time to do that because the Bears are going to be nowhere near the playoffs. But this was a good Monday Night Football game into the fourth quarter. Now, I was getting ready to go rewatch the Squid Game at about halftime because I said, Ben Roethlisberger, they're about to drop 40 on him, but the Steelers aren't that good either. Even though they're on a 4-game win streak, they're still not that good. And the Bears defense actually played pretty decent if they would just figure out that they can't line up in the neutral zone. I don't know what Robert Quinn was doing. I have no idea what Robert Quinn was doing. Why is he lining up in the neutral zone and then still flirting with it all the rest of the game? Don't know why that was happening. They should have never been in that position. Now, did it make a huge difference in the game? Yes. Because those little penalties like that, you get Ben Roethlisberger still able to move the ball down and get the ball down into field goal range. That's a big problem for you because Ben is a statue. If you can keep Ben in the pocket, you can get to Ben. But to give him free first downs, to let them move the ball downfield and he doesn't have to move the ball downfield himself, that was just a recipe for disaster. You just saw what happened. You know, and I think that's part of the mentality of the Bears, and I think because they're just through with their head coach. So it was a good ball game for the Bears. There's no good loss, but you actually saw the Bears play pretty well. Now, you look at David Montgomery coming back from a knee injury. I think he ran pretty well. I think he had like 66, 68 yards. Najee Harris. Man, what do they give those running backs out of Alabama? I mean, we saw King Henry go down for the Tennessee Titans this year, and he's lost for the year. But nobody was going to have a chance to win the rushing title this year but King Henry. He's the most dominant running back that we've seen in a long time. Even you go back to the great Jim Brown, who was just physically dominant over the other guys that he played against. I want to say King Henry is more dominant than even Jim Brown during his time. King Henry's ridiculous. And he's the fastest guy on the field. But he's out this year. But you also saw a Najee Harris who's 240 pounds and who has quick feet, who could dance in the hole. And he played pretty well. But you did see the Bears follow him up, kept him under 100 yards. You just did see his extreme power, which is just amazing. Absolutely amazing that guy is. Ben Roethlisberger played well enough to win. I mean, 21 or 30, 205, that's enough. He wasn't great. The Bears could have won this ball game. They should have won this ball game. But this is what happens when you are in the mentality of losing. The Bears are the most ridiculously penalized team in the NFL. I mean, they're averaging over 7.5 penalties a game, and they were well at 10 early on in the fourth quarter. It was ridiculous what was happening out here. That's just a Matt Nagy led team who has decided we don't care. We're just going to go out here and ball. There's some pride, but what's instilled from our coach, we're not listening to. This guy is not a leader of men. He should not be leading the Chicago Bears right now. Bring back the special teams coach who was coaching. At least he had some vim and vigor. I always wanted to know what vim and vigor was, what vim was. You hear that all the time. But you got to get a coach in here that's going to not only instill the toughness back into the Chicago Bears, but the discipline. that was going on. Let's take a look and see. Chicago Bears on the money line were a plus 250. So people won some money today that I think they were giving up a point, though. So maybe possibly they did lose today. Maybe because the Steelers won by 2. I think the line was only 1, wasn't it? It might have been. I need to check that out. I'm not sure. I need to look. So you had Chris Baldwell hit a 40-yard field goal. That kid was rock solid. I mean, he missed the extra point, but there was no doubt in my mind that he wasn't going to hit that. You look at the Steelers. Let's see what else happened here. Ben Roethlisberger, like I said, went 21 for 30 for 205. Justin Fields, 17 for 29 for 291, 1 TD, and 1 interception. You still got to stop throwing the ball up for grabs. I'm not sure why we're doing that. Cole Kmet had a nice game. 6 receptions, 87 yards. That was nice. They looked pretty good. Najee Harris, like I said, looked great. Can't stop that guy. Carlos Santos kept him in the game, 2 field goals. Those 2 field goals should have been touchdowns for Chicago. And now in the fourth quarter, that Darnell Mooney pass. Great pass to the corner. Now, here's the thing about that fumble return by DeAndre Houston. What's going on there, Pittsburgh? Let's secure the football. Let's secure the football. All we got to do is secure the football and run a few times, and you're going to come out of there with a win. But you made it interesting. I like to see that the Bears are trying to capitalize because their special teams have been trash. Now, the Steelers punter, I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. That guy looked like he ain't never punted before in his entire life. He looked like me trying to punt the football. What was that? Like a 26 yarder or something like that? I could kick that. You know? I can kick that. I don't know how long he's gonna stay in the league, but he's definitely not a guy out there first who looks the part that he's gonna punt the ball a long way. He definitely was just missing the ball. I don't know if he was just trying to cover, and then he was kicking the ball so freaking short. It was amazing. I don't know. I bet he kept the Bears in the ball game too. So it was an interesting football game. Chicago had 2 turnovers. Pittsburgh killed him in possession almost by 10 minutes. You know, Ben Roethlisberger was killed now. First downs were pretty much even. So it was overall, I don't think any loss is a good loss, but this was the best the Bears have looked for a while. I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. Is this a team in the Chicago Bears that's going to win another football game? Because this was the game they should have won right here against the Steelers. And the Steelers are beatable. Now we got to look up and see, is it possible that the Chicago Bears might start gelling after this game and you start seeing a young Justin Fields actually mature and start throwing for big numbers on a regular basis? Here's the thing he needs to start doing, though. He needs to start getting down on the ground. He needs to stop getting hit because he takes big shots. He needs to do that. That one, that late slide, he got clacked in the back of the head. Not good. Come on, Justin, get down on the ground. So it's pretty interesting what we saw tonight with the Chicago Bears. Like I said right here, this possibly was the arrival of Justin Fields. He looked pretty good in the fourth quarter. It looked like everything clicked. And that's all we were asking for. So I wanted to get this out here to you guys. And I enjoyed the ball game in the fourth quarter. I'm glad I didn't leave early because I almost did. We'll see what happens. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll talk about the Chicago Bulls here and this stretch they're coming on. They're going to have to play real well here. They also have going out here, going to play the Warriors, and we're going to see what they look like against elite talent. But we're going to see can this team make any hay in the East. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. But as for all the rest of you guys out there, man, it's just enjoyable being here talking with you guys, having fun. We're going into 3 years of this. It's been a good time. It's going to continue to be a good time. We're going to keep things going. I want to say, especially to my man G SIZZLE out there, he's been a little under the weather, but he's my guy. He's going to keep fighting back, keep going well. Looking forward to getting back together with you, brother, and get back here and talk a little bit more Bears football with you, a little more Bulls basketball. don't know if we're going to talk too much Chicago Cubs because I think they're about doing it. But anyway, man, you guys be great out there. Keep your head up. Tell your kids you love them. And most of all, love yourself. We'll see you on the other side. Bye.